Chapter 8. After promising Cluck she'd be careful, Marian climbed through the secret door and into the dimly lit passageway beyond. It was cold and damp back there, so cold she felt it in her bones, and the only source of light came from cracks between the stones above, letting in mere slivers of sunshine. Fighting back a shiver, she used her paws to guide her as she felt her way down the low-ceilinged space until she came to the set of crumbling, steep stone stairs leading down. She wondered how many still knew of these tunnels that led through the castle and deep underground, one of them dead-ending at a large wooden door that opened out to the sea. According to Robin, these tunnels were originally created as an escape route for royals in case the castle walls were ever breached. But then there hadn't been a proper castle siege on English soil in ages, and the passageways had sat neglected for years, except when a young vixen needed to escape from a strict minder so she could go dance under a blue moon with her best friend. Marian felt a smile creep to her face as she thought of their first escape. Robin had surprised her by coming in through the hearth like a thief in the night, and she had almost yelped in alarm at the sudden sight of him, but he had placed his claw to his lips to urge her to keep quiet. She didn't want to wake Cluck, then beckoned for her to follow him into the darkened space. She'd been frightened at first, not that she'd ever admitted to Robin. She was always so cocky and brave. But still, who knew what kind of creepy, crawly creatures made this dark, unused passageway their home? At one point, she'd almost broken and begged him to turn back around, but Robin had reached out and clasped her paw in his own, squeezing it tight, and she'd known somehow she had nothing to fear. But Robin wasn't with her now, and as the cobwebs brushed at her face and her ears picked up faint scratching on stone, she felt her heart stutter a bit. Holding onto the wall for balance, she descended the steps as quickly as she could, stifling a sneeze as a cloud of dust bloomed in her wake. "It's just dark," she whispered to herself. "There's nothing to be frightened of." Luckily, by the time she reached the bottom of the steps, her eyes had become better adjusted to the dim light. There she found two passageways leading in opposite directions. She frowned, tapping her claw on her chin, trying to remember which one led to the exit. The last thing she needed was to get lost in this maze of tunnels below the castle. She might never find her way out. Arrrrrrr! She froze at the sudden sound, her heart leaping to her throat. What was that? Arrrrrrr! It came again, louder this time, fiercer. She swallowed hard, gasping the wall for support, her heart pounding so hard she feared she'd break a rib. She'd heard strange sounds down there before, the skittering of beetles across the stone, but never anything like this. She was sure of it. It sounded like an angry ghost, or some kind of mythical beast. Arrrrrrr! She squared her shoulders, forcing herself to remain calm. As Cluck had said, it would do no good to panic and lose her head. Instead, she concentrated on choosing a path, the one that led her away from the horrible sound. She began walking briskly, and then it came again. She broke into a full-on run. Arrrrrrr! Suddenly her eyes caught a light at the end of the tunnel. She raced towards it, finding the door she sought. Her paws fumbled with the wooden beam that latched it shut, and then she opened it with a shove. The bright light from the sun almost blinded her with its brilliance after she'd been in the dark for so long. She forced herself forwards, collapsing onto the rocky beach outside, sucking in huge breaths as she tried to still her racing heart. Once she had gotten inside, back under control, she rose to her feet, went to the door, and pushed it closed. Her shoulders slumped in relief. She was out. She was free, and whatever creature had made the noise was inside and couldn't hurt her. It is time to find Robin.